everybody told me they previewed a home, at least online or something. So we're gonna evaluate the property's features through these 14-step marketing program. We're gonna write in the comments for each point, pricing, signage, staging, image, buyer's profile. Of course, you're not gonna know about signage if you didn't visit it, the house personally. I want you to consider the current staging and the marketing of the property. What are your thoughts and comments? And then we're going to talk about it. I'll give you, take one of your properties. It should be on page 17. Is your page 17?
17,
it is. Yeah. So just write it in those 5 boxes. I'm not gonna spend too much time. This is where we're gonna save a little time. I apologize, I keep over talking here. 5 to 7 minutes, go for it. Then we're going to one of my favorite things right now.
Is the
Go ahead.
one you saw online?
Yeah, absolutely. You're not gonna be able to answer the signage one, unfortunately,
Okay.
online. But yeah, we do what we can. That's how we look at it. Take your time. And if we start to go over at 12 o'clock, please, if anyone has to leave, leave. I apologize. I know my style is a little different than most of the other teachers, so just get up, leave. You won't hurt my feelings. Have you looked at this house? Oh, I'm on the road, right? Yep. Yeah. love the openness. Great, it was actually great photography. This was really, really well done. I'm trying to remember who had this listed.
My girlfriend was watching, kept looking at it, and that big yard too.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the pricing?
$849. Yeah. You know what's haiku? Price wise, it's probably not bad. You know, it's a little smaller of a house than I would have wanted at that price point.
Right.
But you get a lot of land, and it's dry, right? It's not the rainy part of haiku, if I remember correct.
I don't really well.
It's right in between, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not super bad. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
all haiku, right? It's
Is,
a little
is there a dry
drier.
part of haiku?
Drier.
Drier, okay.
Actually, right next to a house I sold about 5 years ago. Tell you what's really bad about there? Internet sucks. And I mean sucks.
Yep.
And it's literally 3 doors down. Clients, if I remember, real close in it. It's bad. When I personally would only have satellite TV there. Cable for some, you would think cable should be better since it's underground, but cable seems to go, I mean, you live up that side, right?
Yeah, we have my fiance has a property in Haiku, and he just like, it's a little over 2 acres,
Mhm.
and he's trying to like subdivide it so that he can, I'm like, I think you need to sell it, like I hate it. We tried to live there for a month, and I was like, I can't do this.
Why?
Well, I mean, I have 2 children, and like they're in a lot of activities, so
Oh.
it was far. It was wet. I had a coconut in like where I could actually speak and get reception, because we didn't have a landline. And then you have the power, if it's like windy, it
Power's
was
out.
like up Avila Road. And yeah, it's just the power's always out, like just because it's windy, it's crazy. I can't.
I definitely suggest having, you know, if you're gonna be up in that area, so you have twofold problem. One, I suggest you have, solar panels with the Tesla battery on the side to kick in. Of course, the negative part there, it doesn't get sunny all the time, so.
So last year during those, or was it last year during the hurricanes?
Mhm.
I was staying up at my friend's property just above there, and they had a little tiny house, but it was all off grid, all solar.
Yeah.
And when the whole town was out of power, we
They
were
had
on
power.
we had Wi-Fi and everything because
You had Wi-Fi?
yeah, they had their own just through their whatever their little off grid.
That's awesome.
They had like a little wind turbine solar. So I don't know how if you could do that the way that they did that separately.
I would say probably 20% of haiku has some kind of off-grid something, because people are used to it.
Yeah.
So haiku, don't remember, when it goes out up country, haiku is always the last one to get electricity and water back flowing, always, 100% of the time. Kula's number 1. No, that's not true. Makawao gets it first. Then I usually first Kula. Haiku is like the redheaded stepchild. It is. It's the grid that gets done last, and you know, because there's less people live there. They're further away. Whereas in Kula, Haiku, Pukalani, they're much more. You know, it's much more all in one little place. So it just suffers, but it's a great place if you're really into
Retired.
natural, retired, hippie-ish. I mean, there's a ton of awesome benefits in my opinion, but I couldn't. Plus, I work in a market down here. It's right. I don't live up country. Too far. Everyone done? Excellent. Okay. So, Marcus,
Yes.
for number 4. First of all, tell us what property you used.
It was a condo at the Palms at Wailea.
Okay.
There were actually 2 in the same parking lot that I looked at, so I got a good opportunity to compare the 2 of them actually. The one that I chose, the kitchen was
Do you remember the unit?
1608 and 1808, I believe.
Yeah.
Horseshoes. Okay.
And the one at 1608, the kitchen and bathrooms were very outdated,
Okay.
and it was a little bit less money than the one I looked at 1808. That one, everything was very modern, updated, very tasteful, and so I said that it was properly priced, because the one that I the one that was priced less was properly priced because it didn't have the same amenities as the one that was right around the corner from it.
Good way to look at things.
Thank you.
Good way to look at it. Okay. Which property did you choose?
There was, I looked on.
Hi guys. Are you looking for Keller Williams?
Yes.
No problem. Happens all the time. It's just two over. No, it's 201.
There was a home in my neighborhood. I went to like an open house that they had. This was a while back.
Okay.
But, there's a couple homes in the neighborhood, and this one I think is like priced well.
Priced well?
Yeah, I mean.
Do you remember the address of the
I
property?
think it was 146 P.E. Mountain Street. It was in Kuaina Ridge.
Okay.
But it's listed for $773, 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 1,900 square feet. The signage, but this one house doesn't really have any open houses, and there's a house down the road for like 1.2 million, and there's open houses every couple of days. So I mean, I think that for this house was priced, I think,
Good.
well for
What did you think about the
get.
signage? Was there any signage in
Well,
front
I
of the
mean,
house?
this one only has, it has the lady's face. And that's it. I mean, there's nothing other than.
Yeah,
that one
sometimes
in
that's the
the
best you
yard.
can do.
Yeah,
Um,
but the other one up front, it's just like there's, open house signs everywhere and.
Who do you think the buyer of that property is?
For this one that I looked at,
Mhm.
probably either a young family or a larger family relocating, cause it's a 4-bedroom.
Okay.
And the staging was awesome. It
Good.
was very open and neat, it was clean and airy. The colors,
Good colors.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Good.
Yeah.
Trish, what property did you choose?
It was one in Kailani Gardens that we saw, I think, last week, Saturday.
It was open last week, Saturday, Keilani Gardens. What was the address?
633 Mayakanu Lane,
Okay, know where that's at. And what was the price?
480.
480? 3.2? 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 2.5? It's well priced. What was the inside like?
Beautiful. Everything was updated. Bathrooms are new, floors are new, granite countertops in the kitchen is new lighting, new ceiling fans, new stainless steel appliances, new washer dryer.
Staged well then?
No, there wasn't anything in it.
Okay.
But they did do a new, when you open that lanai screen door,
Yes.
they did do like a really nice, flat, area where you can put a barbecue in it, so
Mhm.
that was, on the side, so that was really awesome, cute garden.
Do you know how long it's been on the market?
As of that Saturday, was it last week? I think it was only 4 days,
4 days, okay.
so
So
10 days
that,
now.
is it gone already?
No, no, it's gotta be.
There
At that
was a-
price?
There was a, offer 3 days after it listed, and then we did the backup offer,
Excellent.
yeah,
Were you above ask?
no.
Okay. Did you ask the agent if they had an
Oh, I
above
have-
ask offer?
No,
Always ask.
okay.
Here's the key, guys. Ask.
Mm-hmm.
Because you'll be surprised how many agents will tell you things. So when I get an offer, ready for the funnest, best question you could ever ask. And there's a lot of agents who'll tell you, oh my God, thank you so much. I really appreciate this offer. Can you tell me, how much more room do you think your buyers have? Is that an unbelievable question to
Yeah.
ask? I would say majority of agents actually reply to me on that. Now you gotta remember, I'm very well liked where I try to do right by every agent possible, and I'm never going to pull the wool over your eyes, ever. I believe in the win-win method, and I am very soft about how I ask questions, so they'll answer that question. You will not believe how many times they'll go, there's a little more room. So unless it's a dual agency, I know for sure, number one, we're coming back with a counter, 100%. That is my responsibility to my seller. I will tell my seller that I have asked that question and they have replied. I've had sellers say, hey, we'll accept the offer as is, it's good. That's cool. I'm not here this is not my game. Remember, I am a glorified middleman who wants to bring party A and party B together, and both parties feel like they've made an amazing win-win deal. Never interject yourself into the deal. This is not about you. This is about them. There's a lot of times agents want to fight and try to win wars with me, and I'm like, and I'll let them think they won, because I don't care. It's not about me. Travis, do you have a question?
Yeah. Would you advise, like, when I make low offers, I am usually pretty upfront about, like, my buyer is concerned about the roof and they are planning on doing some work, so they are gonna need to do that septic thing, even though it's not gonna be due until 2004. I kind of put some of that
Can I
stuff
make a
out
suggestion
there.
when you do that? Write a letter upon the offer then.
Okay.
If you're, okay. do you guys know-
Because then at least it's not like, that. I feel like it's better to do that than just have them think you're lowballing.
Agreed.
There's actual
100%.
reasons here, or, the last one I actually said, I've done some comps, if you want, I'd like to show them to you, that sort of show that, in my opinion, you're overpriced. No, I didn't say that, but I.
Definitely never tell a listing agent that. You want to keep them on a positive.
Okay, alright, I'm just curious, or do you think it's not good to do any of that stuff?
So, okay, so I
They
suggest you
didn't
go
accept
take a
the
look
offer,
at.
they didn't accept the offer.
Did they counter?
They got a better offer.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that happens. So a couple things to that. My buyers, I like to explain to them from the get-go, listen guys, our market is this. We're at 97.5% of ask price.
Yep.
If we're going to make a lowball offer, my job is to create a reason why. Now, if the property is well priced, I'll tell my buyer that. I'm like, hey man, if I look at these comps, it's going to get other offers. Do you want this house? And they'll sometimes tell me, hey, I want to get the best possible deal. I get that. And I just say, is it okay? Do you understand you could lose this property? Like you did. They lost it. If you would have told your buyer up front, hey, you can lose this property by doing that, but I'm happy to do that, I think we need to give them a reason why. And I like to do, I don't like 7-page letters. I'll tell you that right now, because I have ADD and I get bored after 2 paragraphs. I like 1 to 2 paragraphs explaining why they're making this offer at a lower price. I try to do that myself. If I'm over 6% under ask, I like to write a little comment on why I'm doing that. That's just my general number. But you should have a reason, because you're trying to keep everybody happy, 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 joy, 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 and they want to work with you. People like working with my team because my team does the majority of their work, it seems, but that's okay. We understand that. So, go ahead.
Follow up.
Yeah.
So, again, I did comps. Now, the comps are, of course, based on solds.
Correct.
I felt
so
that
you're in
the
a
list-
rising market,
Yeah, I
so
was gonna
that you have to take into effect
Okay.
supply and demand. And comps,
I think I did, yeah. Now that you say that, okay, so if you add in a rising market and inventory, that would explain their asking price. And I could say, and I would say, and justify.
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, it's a valid argument.
Yeah.
If you were just looking at, like, this is what literally comparatively in the last 3 months has sold, and the house itself, it would be high. But if you look at the fact that the prices have been, and also I guess they got almost asking, pretty
Yeah.
positive.
so you gotta remember, we're in a market right now that we're appreciating at, I think it's like 1.2% per month, approximately. So if the last comp is 3 months old, last sold, you gotta think it's 3.5% higher immediately, just on straight numbers. What complicates the matter is maybe a market that doesn't sell a lot of houses, an area that doesn't sell a lot of Lanipoka, Ke'oli'i, places that don't sell a lot of houses, but they'll sell 3, 4 a year, something like that. Or Lugu Heights. These are subdivisions that don't sell fast, and they don't sell a ton in a year. So you have to get creative with how you priced it, and if you're coming up with an offer. Now, gotta remember, if you're dealing with an agent who's not the wiser, and I don't say take advantage of it, because that's not our job, but if you're talking to an agent who's not the wiser, come in with that local offer and explain your comps. The Flip side is if they're an agent who understands the inventory and understands the market, they're gonna combat it with,
Yeah.
hey, granted, I agree, those are all good statements, but we're in an appreciating market, there's no inventory, nothing like this house is available, this is the only one, and we're 6% higher than the last one that sold at 4 months ago. We feel it's justifiable because of that. They're right. But at the end of the day, a house is only worth what a buyer's willing to pay and what a seller's willing to sell it for. But it's just changing your mindset of your client. I forget what complex it was. We were trying to make an offer on a condo that was $150,000 higher than the last sale. The last sale was a year ago. It was really hard to comp out. Like I did math backwards, forwards, left, right, and I'm a mathematician, and it was really hard to figure out how to come up with a number. End of the day, they countered us back full price. I said, my buyer, I'm not saying they're wrong, they're probably a little off. These properties don't come up very often. You might have to wait another year to get a chance at one. And guess what? It'll be higher. What do you want to do? They bought it. It wasn't my decision anymore. I did my best to try to get the best possible deal. Listings is the same thing. At Maui Sands, every month I'm breaking a new record on something. And what's about to close is going to break some more records. It's not what I want. It's what the market is telling us is there. I almost feel bad. I mean, because I have buyers too. I mean, I have buyers and I have sellers, and it seems like I feel maybe they're overpaying. But that's not my call. I provide facts. If they ask my opinion, I will 100% tell them my true opinion. But at the end of the day, I say, hey, here's where this stands. In a year, it's going to be higher.
And what if, like, my original suggested, they of course said, what do you think we should offer?
As long as it's not dual agency, you can tell them that.
Yeah, exactly. So my original suggestion was closer to asking, based on the rising market and other things. But then they weren't comfortable with that, and they wanted to offer less.
What was the reason for wanting to offer less?
They looked at the comps that I had provided, and they just sort of...
Did you justify the math to them after that?
Yeah, I mean, again, upon deeper evaluation, I had no issue going, I kind of said, look, if that's what you're comfortable with, I absolutely feel comfortable making that offer for you.
Absolutely.
I don't know, there might be something, whatever, that was where I went, and I'm just curious, but I don't know how much I was thinking of the sliding market. So the 1% a month, I don't know if I calculated that perfectly, but.
That's okay.
But there were this was the problem, there were a few comps that were just simply nicer.
Yep.
That were less.
Okay.
Now, even though they might have been a month or two old, that's hard. When you have a house here and you're like, but that house was nicer, more renovated, and it's just better, and it was that, and now they're asking this, that's hard to fight with.
Supply and demand. Here's the deal. I like to get them writing if they've never wrote yet. I want to get them into the habit. A lot of times with low ballers, their mindset will change after 3 or 4 offers of not getting it. And again, at some point you gotta have, like I said, either the Jesus or the God talk, however you want to call it. I love to say, hey guys, we've been doing this for 4 months, it's time we have the God talk. Do you want to keep making offers, or do you want to buy a home? And it's funny because the one place they originally make their offer on, after it closes, and they've been looking at a house for 3-4 months later, they always seem to say, damn, I wish I would have just bought that house. They really do. They really do. I mean, I hear this well more than 50% of the time. So think about that. So you just gotta gently show them. Rising market, what do you want to do? And you'll deal with Canadians and you're in trouble.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask.
Well, I
I was just gonna ask if they were Canadians.
They're much better this time around than our last market, for sure.
Yeah.
They understand. You know what?
Are they low ballers?
Because they're really good with their money. I mean, they're really good as in the world economy. They're really good with their economy. They don't go into debt very much.
No.
But here's the flip side. Canadians understand quality. So they have no problem overpaying on something done up right. I have a unit at Kamoli Sands, 8306. Take a look at the pictures when you get a chance. It is literally, and I've sold, I don't know, 60, 70 units there, maybe 50 for sure. I have never once seen an upgrade this nice. It's amazing.
Really? 8306?
It's on open house every day, so anytime you want to go look at it,
Okay.
one of my team has it open.
Cam Sand?
Yeah,
Who did it? Do it right?
he did it himself.
Oh.
Crushes do it right.
Really?
Quality is so unbelievable.
Wow.
Take a look. It's one of the sexiest remodels
What
I've ever
was the
seen.
unit number again?
8306, and it's in the outer building. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's a different story altogether. But I am getting an inner building
I
price.
sold
and
8305,
breaking even,
8301,
and breaking
8401, so yeah.
It's
102.
unbelievable, that place.
Yeah.
I saw that one on Tuesday, Lindsay was
Yeah.
sending it.
Yeah,
No kidding.
unreal. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah.
I think I know the artist that did the painting, though it's like, off topic.
What's it listed at?
$599 for an outer building at Camp Sands.
Is it?
We're
It's-
pretty damn close to the list. I am shattering all outer records ever.
It's a 1-2, right?
1-2.
Yeah.
But people love quality, and it's a Canadian buying. It's baffling. Okay, yeah.
In reference to the question that you posed the buyer's agent, how much more room do you think they have? What would you say if somebody asked you that?
I'll laugh and they go,
Yeah.
quit trying to use my tactic on me. But I have a good time with it.
We're not going there.
It really depends, I'll be honest. If my client really, really wants the house, I'll sometimes show my hand just to make sure I get it. I am blessed that there are a lot of agents that will get multiple offers and they would rather work with my team, so they give me the magic number. And I ask for the magic number. If I know there's more than 2 offers in them, my very first question to that seller's agent is real simple. What is it going to take for my client to win this property? I'm very open about it. I'm not hiding punches, you know. If my client says, this is the one we want, we think we're the first one in, and I find out we're not the first one in anymore, I call them and say, you might have to get competitive. You good with me talking? And they say, yeah. I'll go and ask them. I say, what's it gonna take? I'll ask what the other offers are. I have good relationships with agents. They tell me a lot of things. And you're legally allowed to tell, as long as they have it in writing. I don't ask if they have it right. That's not my business. I'm just asking the question.
I'm good at playing dumb. I would just say I don't know. I'm also-
Depends. I think every scenario is different. If it's an agent I love to do business with, I want to do business with that agent. If it's a client who really wants it sold or really wants to buy it, you know, as much as I ask, I do tell certain things when I have to. Especially with an agent I know that's going to get the job done. Now, if it's an agent who there's quite a few of these agents who I know get into contract and falls out a lot, I'm not really willing to I don't want to play too much with that agent, so that's their fault.
And if there's an offer in, of course, it's totally fair game to say, is it full price? If you're.
You can ask anything you humanly want. The question is, what have they gotten from the seller to allow you to say it? Our listing contracts, if you guys look into our listing contracts, in the open section, there's the last sentence says we're allowed to discuss all offers with potential buyers.
That's
As
great.
long as you have that in there and they say yeah.
If you're
Good
putting
go.
one in as a buyer though, for a buyer client, and they're
Yeah,
like, we have an
absolutely.
offer, I mean, that seems to be an obvious
We
one.
can
Is
ask
it a full
anything
price
we
offer?
want.
Yeah.
Because we're not held, our fiduciaries to our buyer. That agent, hopefully they've gotten something in writing where they can talk. I'm gonna be perfectly honest, there's a lot of by the book agents who will say, hey, you know I can't tell you that.
Right.
And I'll be like, why don't you just talk to your seller, see what kind of permission you give me. And again, it depends on what relationship I've had with them, if I've closed deals with them before, if I haven't. But I'll tell you one thing, if I haven't closed a deal with somebody, I wanna make that experience freaking out of this world with them. So they know they wanna play with me again. So I get a lot of offers on stuff from agents who just wanna work with us because they like the experience. We don't fight, ever. My concierge and my assistant will never fight with an outside agent bringing in an offer. It doesn't happen. they'll direct it to me if they start screaming at them, you know, want this, want that, and we know they're wrong, just won't happen. Their answer is, no problem, I'm gonna have Todd call you. It's easy. So remember guys, it's not our money. We get paid really well, so let's do the best service we can. Make sense? Okay, ready, my favorite part, page 18, hold an effective open house. Are we good? I'm sorry, are we good with the marketing? Or you guys understand why we played that game? Do you guys want a 5-minute break? You wanna keep going? You want a break?
I just have to.
Keep going?
Yeah.
Go. Unfortunately, we don't have the video, guys. Our internet's out. So we're gonna go through holding an effective open house. How many of you have had an open house? Okay. Are the 4 of you brand new?
Yeah, 1 month though.
Okay. Best experience you can humanly get is in open house, I'll tell you right now. Go sit. Sit.
Yep.
You get a ton of experience. So, part of our marketing strategy and one of the 14 steps is to show the property through an open house. Holding an open house is an excellent way to market your listing and market yourself as a real estate expert. Open house benefits the seller by attracting buyers to the home. The more visits to a house, the faster it will get sold. Buyers love open houses. Okay. So we're gonna Maui-ize this a little bit.
Yeah,
Okay.
please.
On the mainland, people only sit open houses on Saturdays. Some places will do Saturdays or Sundays, or Saturdays and Sundays. If you go across the nation, when they hear that we can sit an open house 7 days a week, they're like, huh?
Yep.
Crazy. But we can. High season, you guys know when your high season is, what month of the year? So it's January 1st. I like to really say it's more like January 4th. Some people say it's December 15th. Doesn't matter. To approximately the end of April. That is our peak season on Maui. What that means is we have a minimum of 65,000 visitors a day. And I'm pretty sure that's an old stat, because that's when I had asked. I think somebody told me it's near 100.
Yeah.
Baffling.
It's like 80 to 90.
I have never gotten the actual facts, so I only go back with what I know. So I do need to check
I know
into
a
that.
fact, I think it is, it's 85 to 93. I used to run support in Whalers Village, so that was a stat I constantly kept track of because that's
Awesome.
my conversion rate.
That's a big stat.
There's something on the internet, you can look it up, it's called the Maui County Data Book.
Ah,
And the
I heard about that.
And the Maui County Data Book has kept track of this for the last 15 years. And you open it up by year, and it's like 800 pages long, but one section will be visitor information, and it will tell you exactly the answer to all of your questions.
It's perfect.
How
So-
much money does a teenager spend in a day in Kaanapali? You will
Yeah.
find out everything you wanna know.
That's, data is gold. So, you know, I don't know how many of you guys are into your investments yet. Maybe you're starting out and you're definitely gonna get into them. We track everything now. I will tell you, I haven't quite figured out why we track everything yet, but I do know data is gold, because when I need to know a fact, I start going back to all our numbers to check it out. So start tracking stuff for you. So that is huge, that's huge what he just told us.
And-
So if there's 85,
And you know what I discovered? Because this was way back in 2000 when I first started looking at this. What is the #1 month of travel to Maui?
February?
December?
July,
No way.
for the last 12 years in a row.
That's crazy.
And the #2 month is August. This is for number of bodies. Buyers are here December through April, but the
Yeah.
number of bodies, the highest month of travel is July and August, and the lowest month is May and September. So I look at that from a 50,000 foot view, and what do I see? I see a school calendar.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
That's
School
why there's
calendar.
more bodies here too.
And
is
so
the number of
therefore,
kids.
does your client wanna buy a 1-bedroom condo or a 2-bedroom? You wanna buy a 2-bedroom, cause guess what? You're gonna have a
Sure.
better chance of renting it.
Yep. That's a great, those are great
Data,
stats.
data.
So you think
You
about
can
there's
look it up.
85,000 people, you have a possibility of getting 85,000 people into your open house any day of the week. So that's who the majority of the people are who come walking in.
It'll tell you how many people are here per day in different sections of Maui too. How many people are in the south, how many people are in the west, it'll tell you all that.
So you see how that data is important and how it's really good information? So what that means, open house is successful 7 days a week, okay? So, and this does not just qualify for condos on the strip of Kihei and Lahaina. This is throughout the whole place. But the signage to get people to your open house is of absolute importance. If you're gonna sit open house, sign the crap on it. Have as many signs as you humanly can. Don't waste your time, do it effectively. So I mean, when I used to sit in Wailuku all the time, I probably would have an average of 8 signs, especially when I would sit like at the gardens. I'd have 8 signs. Yeah. I mean, there was no way they weren't gonna find my place. It's like I said, if I'm gonna spend 8 hours somewhere, I wanna make sure it's the best 8 hours I can get out of my money. So, open house benefits. An agent holding an open house is a key lead generation strategy. They offer relatively safe and non-aggressive sales environment. It's true. You know, walking into a Keller Williams office or walking into an open house, I guarantee they'd much rather walk into an open house. They provide opportunity for great face-to-face prospecting. The open house event and time leading up to and after provides opportunity for you to build relationships, market your name to a geographical farm, and secure a neighborhood's mind share. That's the important thing. Tell me, guys, what do you think is the #1 reason to sit in an open house? You're not allowed to answer. You're not allowed to answer. You're probably not allowed to answer. Relate it to these 4. What do you think is the #1 reason to sit in an open house?
Lead generate. Lead generate.
#1. It's about us. And there's lots of ways to lead generate. There are buyer's lead generation, geographic farming location generation, meaning your name, you're trying to get your name somewhere. So at one point, I used to have Wailuku Country Estates locked up. And I took it from the big gorilla of the area, Joanna Key. She's an amazing agent. People love her. They never leave her. This Howley boy from the mainland secured and took a good chunk of her business out. I marketed it all the time. I sat open house all the time. I called to the neighbors there. I just did everything you have to do to get that business, and I eventually took it over. I unfortunately moved the way I did business to the south side of the island, which made more sense to me, monetary wise. But I will tell you, it wasn't as hard to secure that location as anyone thinks. So, you know, when you go into a certain subdivision, you always want to look at who's the big gorilla in there, who's doing the majority of the business. If someone's doing 50% or more of business in any condo, any subdivision, think hard about how much money you're going to spend. It's usually not helpful to go after that, unless you're doing some free stuff, door knocking, sitting in a lot of open houses, along with your mailers. Because mailers just won't work if there's a gorilla in the area. You have to supersede it with other ways to get your name out there. So that's one of the best things about open houses. You can take any area on this island. I promise you. You start sitting there 12 months out of the year,
Yep.
you will start to get market share at that place, no matter where it's at.
Yep.
And it's a way to get business for free, and it's a way to start really developing your marketing. That is my favorite thing to do in the world. Anytime you guys want, I am cheap. A cup of coffee will get you a lot of answers. Lots of answers, and I'll help anytime. Getting the word out. Invite people directly to your open house by actively by prospecting in traffic. Super easy. Door knocking, sending out postcards, social media. Anyone have good ideas on the social media thing? Who's big into social media here?
Getting there.
All right. Both of you two are? What's the #1 fastest growing social media right now?
Instagram?
What is it?
Instagram.
Is that what you guys think?
Well, I mean, Facebook has good stuff going on.
You guys are so far off, you're getting ready to have your mind blown?
TikTok.
By far. TikTok by far.
Oh my god.
Serious?
It's not even close. Kevin Hart joined TikTok 2.5 months ago or something.
Yeah.
Guess who has the most followers on TikTok right now?
Kevin Hart.
It's,
There's a 15-year-old kid. He made $120,000 on Saturday.
What?
Advertising?
Advertising dollars.
do you know TikTok is on the State Department's list of places that you should not download because it's run by a Chinese company that spies on Americans?
Well aware, super aware of it.
Okay.
Who the hell cares?
Really?
Yep, I don't care.
Same with the Face app one, the filter.
Yeah,
Russians.
I don't open the apps in there.
Oh.
But let me tell you something. I am not big into TikTok yet. I've been doing my
I mean,
research, and
TikTok's
when I
really
go
young,
to it,
from what I've heard. It's very young. I mean,
Yeah.
my 13-year-old is on it all the
My
time.
Yeah.
son's 10 and he's obsessed.
Like little-
yeah, guess what?
So
Guess what they said about Instagram
I
24
wouldn't have
months
thought
ago?
that it would be good for real estate.
What did they say 24 months ago about Instagram? Exact same thing.
And there's at least one 15-year-old that has lots of money that could be looking for a realtor on Maui.
He's on Maui right now, in case anybody wants to know.
Yeah, he was in it. My girls are bugging me to find him. I'm like, I'm not driving all the way there for your girls.
Yeah, he's all over the island
Yeah.
right now, making a lot of money doing it.
Yeah.
So sometimes it makes sense to get ahead of the curve. I missed Instagram and I missed Facebook. I didn't miss Facebook. I decided purposely not to go into the Facebook. I'm not going to miss TikTok probably this time. I did miss Snapchat because I thought Snapchat was a social media that just can't evolve to do it yet, and I've been dead on right on that. It's not working. They can't figure a way to monetize it yet. TikTok, they've already figured it out, and it's only been around for less than a year. So, highly suggest thinking about. Bob's looking at me like, screw that, I don't want to play that game. Totally get it. We're old school, but you guys are a lot younger than us, and you're probably going to have longer careers. I'm out of this in less than 10 years. I plan to be out of here in 5 years. That's my goal. Think about staying on top of social media because it's number one. If you can figure out a way, I'd take 30 minutes a day or take 10 minutes every day and think, how can I make TikTok work for me in real estate? You're drinking your coffee, no kids around, nobody around, nothing. It's like a meditation. Think about how you can make TikTok work. I'm telling you guys, you will have a chance to blow up really fast if you can figure out a social media avenue that no one else is using. I haven't seen one realtor on TikTok yet. Well, there's one, but she's doing it for a
Isn't
different
it like a
reason.
sing and dance?
Yeah.
So you
So that's what it used to be.
oh,
Not anymore.
oh really?
Look at it. Kevin Hart does not do the sing and dance one thing. Not one of his videos is that way. Yep. So the social media is a bigger play than most people think. Okay? Well, Instagram is great for certain videos. Facebook is really good for Facebook Live. The way that Facebook has made it, number one thing to get your video pulled up is a Facebook Live, not a video, a Facebook Live video. Do you guys all know the difference?
Yeah.
Okay. So these are things that you have to get into, try doing. Knowing the people that you work with. If I'm trying to work with the old rich money, there's no reason to use Instagram or TikTok. But what they do use is Facebook. Everybody uses Facebook. Twitter is still a massive platform for certain people. Like you go into the San Francisco high-tech area, you would think like Instagram would be the big thing, TikTok, things like that. Twitter's still really big there. Kind of baffling that 20-year-olds are using Twitter, but it's still quite used. It's just maybe not as much on our side. But look what works, engage it, figure a way for social media to work. Number one way to get new likes on Facebook and new followers, Facebook and Instagram, anyone know? Contest, throw a contest. Husky, real cheap, real fun. You can get other people to help invest into it. Or you can go crazy and be like, hey, I spent $500, I'm gonna get me a Kindle reader or whatever it is, Fire, whatever they call it, and you're gonna give it away for some kind of weird contest. You'll get a ton of new likes. But Don't just do that one, you gotta make sure you have a game plan in mind. You can do community websites on Facebook. Keelani Gardens, homepage. You get creative, there's things you could do. Cheap and free. Communicating with your sellers, page 21. You guys have that? You do have that, perfect. 11:30. Communicating with sellers. Remember, you have told the sellers it's about them. You made a promise to them with a 10 plus customer experience. You have agreed to communicate in the ways that work for the sellers, whether it's once a week, once a day, by phone, email, or text message. Update your sellers regularly from listing to closing, including the status of your marketing efforts, feedback from home showings and offers on the table, and the steps leading to a successful closing once an offer is accepted. Be sure to block time on your calendar for this follow-up with your sellers, and be sure these updates happen, even if there's no news to report. We're going to skip over to page 22. Communication checklist. I'm going to give you some real life experiences how this works. Here's what I do. On Friday, I call most of my sellers to update them. At listing, I love to ask the question, how would you like communication? Phone, text, email. They're very precise and they know exactly how they want it. I have one seller that demands I call him every single Friday at the exact same time. It's a demand. I knew taking his listing, but I got $2 million worth of listings from him, right? So 2 of his listings. I'm okay with it. So every single week, my alarm goes off 30 minutes before I call him. I go to my assistant, I get all the feedback for the week. Sometimes there's no feedback. And that's okay. He just lands that call. There are other sellers